The views and opinions expressed in the following program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect those of KSMQ Public Service Media Incorporated or its assigns.
Hello, I'm Eric Olson, host of KSMQ's On Cue. Local gymnast Sela Fadness and her coach Mark Raymond join us today to recount their triumphant win at state this year. Sgt Dave Pike also stops by to talk about the importance of being able to communicate during critical community events. And of course, we'll get a Vision 2020 update, this time from John Garry. Stay tuned for On Cue.
From KSMQ Television in Austin, this is On Cue, connecting interesting issues and interesting people. On Cue.
Sgt Dave Pike from the Moore County Sheriff's Department is the go-to guy for the new radios being utilized by law enforcement. Joins us to tell us a little bit more. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon. It is.
Yeah, good afternoon. And I know these things that you've graciously allowed us to remove from your holster there. Now that looks like a radio, and it works just fine now, folks, but the goal with Moore County and a lot of counties around the state is sometimes these units don't necessarily communicate with each other that easily, as I understand it, and you're trying to develop a system that has a little more universal use.
This is true. It's actually a system that's being built by the state. It's called the Armour System. It's the Allied Radio Matrix for emergency responders is what the system
Allied, is. Say that again, Allied?
Yeah, exactly. Allied Radio.
Oh,
hold on. Allied Radio Matrix for emergency responders.
Okay.
Armour, A-R-M-E-R.
Good. That must be the first time in law enforcement that there's an...
Oh, that's
there's
the first acronym.
First acronym ever,
right?
yeah. But what this means basically is better communication. The goal is better communication and universality.
Yes, it's a statewide system that is owned and operated by the MnDOT, and it's controlled by a radio board at the state level. And as counties choose to participate in the system, they become partners with the state and build their own local, what they call subsystems, within the major state system. So this radio here that you see in front of you, I can carry that to Minneapolis, St. Paul, and being a portable, I can communicate back with my dispatcher seamlessly.
Oh, okay.
So that's what makes it a statewide tool that
not yet,
use.
But in theory, when we get going,
this is happening now.
It is.
We are on the system in a limited basis right now. We're currently in the process of buying additional units. We're trying to equip the Austin PD right now with additional units as funds become available. We're buying more and more of these subscriber units and putting them out into the field.
Oh, okay. So, because I've had some just very basic discussions because I know you need an antenna system, and maybe KSMQ can help, maybe not, but you need space. That is to help with the local piece.
Exactly. Yep. As we get more and more units in our local system, we're looking to move over to these new units 100%, more so than what we're utilizing right now. We're kind of what they call limited participant right now, but our goal and our plan is to migrate to the Armour system in hopefully the near future.
So right now in Moore County, who are you able to communicate with? Aside from the Armour right now, how's that working?
Well, right now our primary radio system is what's known as the VHF system, which is a very high frequency. I'm sure you're familiar. But all of our neighboring partners right now are on the Armour system. Moore County is currently using the VHF system as our primary system. So we can communicate with each other within the county. The Austin Police Department, the Moore County Sheriff's Department are small town partners throughout the county along with our fire departments. We can communicate just fine amongst ourselves. But when incidents reach beyond our borders, say a high-speed pursuit or any other catastrophe, that type of situation. We're relying on these limited number of radios that we have out in the field now to communicate with our neighboring jurisdictions.
Okay, so you don't need the antenna to do that.
Not on a limited basis. And like I say, as we migrate to the full participation, we're looking to enhance our coverage within the city of Austin, which would require an additional tower site is what we're looking at.
And in your past history, every county kind of did their own communication system. So it's the state partnership that's a new piece?
Well, new to us.
Okay.
This is something that has been in the works, since after the 9/11 tragedy. The state of Minnesota recognized a need for interoperability. That's kind of the catchword now that we all are familiar with. But they recognized the need, and with that need in mind, they started the talks and built up this system over time, where it started in the metro region. They built it up there, perfected it, and got things pointed in the right direction. Several years later, it expanded out into the rest of the neighboring counties and eventually into the rest of the state. Currently, we have 71 counties that are participating in the Armour system. There are 7 total counties, such as Moore County, that have a plan to migrate to the system in the future, and that leaves roughly 7 other counties up in the northwest section of the state that have chosen not to migrate as of yet, but I'm sure they're thinking about it from the sounds of it.
So Sergeant Pike, is this a good thing overall for the Moore County Sheriff's Department? For law enforcement, will it help you do your job better?
It's an outstanding thing for the Sheriff's Department and our police department, because it allows us to monitor other traffic in the area, things that are going on that may be coming into our area that we might not know about had we not had the technology to hear what's going on around us. Also, if the whatever happens and we need to rely on the assistance of our neighbors, it's a very critical tool. It will be a critical tool when the time comes.
So is your job in law enforcement changing to more of a across boundaries work? Do you do more of that kind of thing than you did 10 years ago or so, or not really?
It happens on a limited basis. Things happen. People call for mutual aid. There's always limited budgets, limited staffing. When the whatever happens, places are calling on their neighbors more and more to come in and assist when times are tough. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're there for.
For the Armour system, is there funding available from the state? Is this part of a big program?
Yes, a lot of the program we've been participating in so far has been largely funded by state grants. The Moore County has applied for and received large amounts of dollars. Currently, we're in the process of updating our dispatch center with the remodel project that's going on. We were also able to purchase 3 new console units that are capable of communicating on the Armour network also. So that's a large expense that was, I believe, funded half by the state of Minnesota to make these improvements to our system.
You mean council like in the building in there?
Correct.
Where the dispatchers are sitting
Correct.
in there?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So then you'll have them in cars and
in dispatch.
And
yes.
in dispatch.
And also portables.
Okay. What about like other agencies when things happen, like a tornado or some natural disaster, for instance, like the Red Cross? Do they like just use cell phones to talk to you, or how will that? Do they interface at all?
It's kind of a piece to where there would be a cache, they call it a cache stock of radios, where they can be distributed to entities like that. I know the Red Cross currently uses amateur radio a lot for their uses.
Okay.
But it is a complex system when you get down to it, and there are strategic people within the system. We have it's called a COML, located in Rochester. So when the whatever happens and we need assistance, this person from Rochester will come. He's actually a communications leader is what that term is. So he can come in and he can help establish those connections through mobile repeaters that we have available in our southeast region. They can come in, put up a temporary repeater to make things work when things go down if a tornado or something like that were to take down infrastructure for us. So.
Well, it's great to have somebody with your skill set and interest for the Mower County Sheriff's Department helping with this program. Sgt Dave Pike, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll be right back.
You can watch On Cue anytime by visiting the KSMQ TV website, ksmq.org.
And welcome back to On Cue. Hey, some fun. We're going to show some hardware here on our set. Some of just a few of the wonderful awards won by our next guest, Sela Fadness. Welcome, Austin High School junior, and I want to get this right, state all-around gymnastic champion. Is that close? Did I get that right, Coach? All right. And Coach Mark Raymond from the Austin High School gymnastics team. Thank you very much for joining us. Congratulations to you.
Oh, thanks.
It happened a while back.
Yeah.
Was it March?
That first week in March.
Yeah.
First weekend.
And this is a first for Austin High School. Can you run down a little bit, Coach, about what it means to be an all-around state champ gymnastics?
Well, gymnastics is a 4-event sport. They have vault, bars, beam, and floor. And the all-around championship is determined by adding the individual scores together. So if you were to go 9 on each event, that'd be 4 9s. You'd end up at a 36 for an all-around score. Sela was a 38 all-arounder this year, pretty consistently, which is a 9.5 or better all the way across the board on all 4 events, and pretty rare. And it was it's been a lot of fun to have her in the gym and to see her progression through this.
And Sela, did you go into it with high expectations this season of making it all the way there?
It was like definitely in the cards. I knew it was close, but anything can happen on a given day. I could have fallen off the beam or taken a step out of bounds or anything, and that would have been it. So it was in the cards, but I had to do everything right. So I'm lucky it came out the way it did.
And we have several of them, of your awards here. Can you point out a few of them? Now, which one is this year's state all-around? Is it this one?
This one's a True Team one that we won as a team. And that was the first time in school history we won True Team state, so it was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and then this is a 3rd place medal we got at state as a team as well, which is like the highest we've placed at state as a team. And this one would be like the all-around one that I won individually.
And the back, I think, does it have your name on the back, if I may?
There's something inscribed.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
Class A all-around champion.
Yeah.
You mentioned, you used a term, total team. I'm sorry, I just forgot.
True Team.
True Team, sorry.
Yeah.
Coach, translation.
The True Team State Tournament is sponsored by the Coaches Association. The Minnesota State High School League, which runs our state championship, has a series that is divided by regions of the state, and we represent kind of the southeast corner of the state. And so there's 10 teams in our section. 1 team goes to the state tournament, and 8 teams from all over the geographic state go to the Minnesota State High School League tournament. The Coaches Association is a state tournament that is the top 10 teams in the state by score. It doesn't matter where you are, so 2 teams can be right next to each other. In fact, 2 teams that were participating this year, Detroit Lakes and Perham, historically are number 1 and number 2 in their section and top 5 in the state, but only one of them makes the Minnesota State High School League tournament. Okay. So True Team is a test of how good a team really is. And then the other part is they count all 5 scores. We normally count 4 of the 5. We throw 1 score out. At True Team, we count all 5 scores. You can't afford to have a weak spot in your team at all. And that, for us, really it really plays to our strength. We have an amazing group of girls, and we're really deep on a lot of events. So we can go 5 deep on everything.
And your routine, your work is also on the team level. At the same time, it's being judged personal.
Yeah, correct. At every meet in the season, but when it comes to state, there's 2 different days, and one day we'll compete as a team, and the next will be an individual.
Okay.
So all season, it's team and individual until state. So.
And we're looking at some footage of you at the state meet. Is it just like every other meet? Are you thinking, I can't wait for this to be over with? This has been a long season. Or are you just very excited to be there? Nervous? Do you get nervous?
About an event or 2 in, I'm pretty excited to be there, but up until then, I'm just really nervous. I don't really have any nails throughout all of gymnastics season, so.
Did you start this when you were very young, as far as gymnastics, or were you just active in sports generally?
A little bit of both. I started gymnastics when I was 8, which is relatively old for gymnastics, but I've always been into like all different kinds of sports. So.
And you do that today, soccer?
I play on a summer soccer team as well as in the fall, and I've run track and I've dove and. So.
And yet this is is this pretty much a year-round proposition to be in high school gymnastics today?
You know, it could be. A lot of the girls that we see at the state tournament are competing in gymnastics or training in gymnastics year-round. And in order to reach those kind of levels, you have to be dedicated. You have to put in the amount of time in order to get to that point. Sela's been very dedicated to the sport, and she's put in a lot of time in the summer, and she doesn't miss a lot of days. And so she's still able to be a high school student, to participate in soccer, to be a diver, to run a little track. And I'm really happy that she's been able to be a 3-sport athlete for us and participate in some other things as well as excel in gymnastics.
That's getting more and more unusual, isn't it? Because there's so much preparation for any sport you choose that you can be active year-round in it. Yeah. So to be well-rounded, that's really unusual. That's very cool.
Oh, thanks.
Do you like them all equally, or that's probably a difficult question with your coach sitting right next to you, I suppose, but.
Well, gymnastics is like where my passion is, but I like soccer because it gives me like a break from the individual side of like gymnastics. It's like where soccer is like completely team. So I kind of like the even balance between both, and yeah.
What about injuries? Do they happen every week, all the time? I would, ankles, all that pounding on your joints.
A little bit, but you can't really do much about it. You just kind of have to suck it up and go with it. Like my ankles have been taped up, have been worn down, but everyone has it. Everyone deals with it. So
it's a regular part of.
Yeah. It's not a big deal.
We work pretty hard in designing practices to try and avoid a lot of the wear and tear, and we try to split that up during the week. And there's some things that you don't have to do. You don't have to do every day. You don't have to do every week. And as gymnasts progress through that, their skills get a little more difficult, but the demand on their time starts to reduce a little bit. Sela's an excellent vaulter, and the amount of actual hard landings that Sela has to throw for a vault has been going down because we've been able to focus on the front end of the vault, maybe just working on getting up off the table. And because we can do that, just the front end, and work just the table work, we can do soft landings on the back side of it and maybe avoid a little bit of wear and tear on our ankles. On those days, we'll go heavy on floor because the floor is going to pound on those ankles just as well, and then switch it up the next day. If we're going to throw a vault and actually do some landings, we won't tumble on floor.
Must be a big moment for you. You're enjoying this as a longtime coach of your team, not only having the team winning, but Sela's progress also.
It's fun to see kids rewarded for their effort, and it's been a lot of fun working with the group of girls that I have right now because they put in a lot of time and they deserve everything they get, Sela included. Sela's put in a lot of time in the gym, and hardware like that doesn't come free.
Mm-hmm. Now you're only a junior. I mistakenly thought she was a senior when we were chatting beforehand, thinking, okay, she won state, so she has to be a senior. You're only a junior. So what do you have goals? Do you have goals set for this coming year?
Yeah, I want to win as a team. That's never been done in years in any sport at AHS for a long time, as well as the gymnastics team has never done it. So, and we got third, so we got some work to do. And that's probably my goals for next year, yeah.
Are you looking at who's going to be there and who won't be there?
Oh, I already know.
The interesting thing with gymnastics is you don't really get to control what other people do. There's no defense in gymnastics. And so the only thing you can control is what you're going to bring forward. And our girls have done a really nice job on focusing on their own skills and making sure that every year they get a little bit better. And I think if they can continue to do that, it won't matter what the other teams do. They'll put up a number that the other teams won't be able to reach.
Oh, never thought of that. Yeah, no defense. Well, we've run out of time. Sela, thank you very much for coming in, and congratulations. Continued success. And Mark Raymond, Coach, thank you very much for coming in. Have a great summer.
Thank you very much.
We will be coming right back with our Vision 2020 update when On Cue returns.
Queue up your own comments for On Cue and send them to us at onq@ksmq.org. On Cue's Vision 2020 segment is brought to you by Hormel Foundation, Games People Play, and Turtle Creek Estates.
And welcome back to On Cue. Time now for our Vision 2020 update. And joining us this week, John Garry, Chair of the Business Friendly Environment Committee, also with the DCA, the investment
and
DCA.
The Economic Development Organization for Austin.
For Austin, where you're Executive Director.
Right.
Welcome.
Thanks.
What's your committee been up to lately?
Well, Business Friendly Environment Committee is looking for ways, to make the community more friendly to business. And a big focus of ours has been to support entrepreneurs. Austin's entrepreneurial culture, I think there are many entrepreneurs, but we're looking at how we can get them to come out, get to know each other a little bit better, and then make sure they're aware of what different agencies or groups like mine can do for entrepreneurs.
Okay, so is it a matter of maybe getting information to folks? Is that what your
Well, I
committee
think that's a
can
big
help
part
do?
of it. Really trying to focus on just two things. One, entrepreneurs get to know entrepreneurs. And there's a lot of research been done that's kind of it's almost like they form a support group because being an entrepreneur is risky. So getting them to know one another so that they can support one another. And then the second bucket is making sure as easily as possible entrepreneurs are able to find the resources they need, like financing a lot of time, or available space, or just some technical advice like on hiring or keeping the books.
But that's something that your organization, DCA, provides anyway.
Yeah, right.
How can a Vision 2020 help enhance that?
Well, I think a lot of times when I think of Vision 2020, I think of it's just sort of an extra level of effort. So we're getting a lot of community interest in the Vision 2020 brand or label. And it could be sometimes the things we're already doing, but just try to raise the awareness of what we're doing, promote it better, get it out there. And I think for all of us, I know DCA included, but the Chamber of Commerce, the City of Austin, we all want to seize the opportunity that Vision 2020 presents to just, I think, elevate our game, do a lot of things better and with more focus.
Is there, as an expert as you are in this business, have you learned anything that you didn't know before after joining with other professionals in the Vision 2020 meetings?
Well, in the business-friendly sense, I think one of the things I've really learned is how there's a lot more entrepreneurs out in the community than we kind of are aware of. And it could be someone who already has started a business, but they've got a second business idea. It could be someone who's just been kind of dreaming, like, someday I'm going to try it. Someday I am going to start that business. But you get a few free lunches out there and things like that, and they're like, I'm going to come and listen to that expert on how to start a company. And so I'm learning that if we can get the word out there, there are more entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs in the community than I think we were aware of.
So when you say business friendly, it might mean just somebody getting out of their comfort zone and feeling comfortable to come to a John Garry and say maybe they were just intimidated to even think about it or come forward with an idea.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of it. If we can just, even if they don't just meet with me one-on-one, but they come to a group and there's 70 people there, and they hear a speaker talk about an interesting topic came up a few months ago in a meeting was very seldom does an entrepreneur know everything they need to know to have a successful business. And I think even that kind of lets people think like, wow, I don't have to figure everything out in advance. You know, so I think that people hear that message and then they can think like, well, where are my strengths? Where are my weaknesses? How can I get some help?
So the club, people can learn about it on the Vision 2020 website?
Yeah, they can go there. Basically, we're going to bring it together the third Thursday of every month. It looks like we're going to be doing it at the Eagles in Austin. So the third Thursday at noon for 1 hour, there'll be a meal provided, and then a presentation by someone who's going to talk about the types of things an entrepreneur probably wants to know.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. And so if you're thinking about it, you don't have to be officially running a business yet. If you're just thinking, you're welcome to attend.
Yeah, it'd be great to have them.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Third Thursdays at the Eagles Club.
Yeah.
Wonderful. John Garry, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for joining us this week. We'll see you again here on Cue.
On Cue is a production of KSMQ Television in Austin, nonprofit public television.